My role was and the task I was given was very much to try and get the women's team to catch up and to make sure that the standards that are reflected by Sean Dyche and everyone at the club in the lads' side of the game is transferring across into the women's game.
You mentioned Sean Dyche there, and you're hiding it well, but you look like you've got that ginger hair under there that matches the Sean Dyche look. Tell us a little bit about your credentials, Matt. How do you get to be in this situation, managing this team?
Okay, so like I say, I joined the club in October 2016, and before that, my background was working in the academy game with the lads, and also my background in the women's game. I was running the Lincoln University women's team, and I was also involved with the FA Girls Centre of Excellence, so working with the girls as part of the England talent pathway and trying to progress them through into the England training squads. And that was where it started for me with the women's game. So I was, working as a coach there, trying to refine my coaching ability, trying to refine my philosophy. And then when the opportunity came up here, I just felt as though it was a club that was a really good step for me. And I'm proud to be here. I'm proud to be working as hard as I can to try and make sure that we keep developing this club in the best possible way.
Tell us about your journey. How did you get involved? Because you were playing locally for Accrington at one stage, weren't you?
Yeah, I started playing for Accrington and then obviously wanted to play for Burnley because it's a club that I support. So came down to a training session and it was really professional. Thought the standard was really good, so signed on.
Did you command a transfer fee?
No.
Maybe that's to come in years to come. So Sarah, great to see you. What's your involvement with the team? How did that come about?
Actually, the captain, Joe Holt, asked me to play. It must have been about 4 or 5 years ago now, and I'd played at a pretty good standard with City Women at the time, and then she asked me to come and help out here. And I wasn't going to play anymore, but I decided I'd come back and try it again, and now I love it, and I wouldn't stop playing for anything.
I suppose if the captain's asking you to play, you're
That's
going to get in the side, don't you?
Well, yeah. Don't know about that, but she's a good friend of mine as well, and obviously I enjoy playing. Like, one of the main things for me is playing with my best friends, and I love it.
Well, Joe, you're the captain of Burnley Ladies.
Indeed I am.
Tell me about your involvement with this team.
My involvement with this team goes back an awful long way. I started playing at Burnley when I was 18 and played at Burnley till I was about 24, and then the team that I was involved in folded, so I moved to a club playing in the National League for 10 years, and then my job got, so I was struggling with the commitment of National League football at the time. Came back to Burnley where all my friends were, so I've probably been back at Burnley for about 7 or 8 years now. It's been lovely to see the growth in the club during that time, from way back when to now.
It's fair to say, I guess, that he did start at quite a low bar. You've raised that bar substantially. Promotion immediately almost was a real feather in the cap. The FA Cup run got a bit of kudos and got a bit of publicity for what's been happening here, and now there's a real buzz about the women's team, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely. So like you say, it was a pretty a low level, if you want to call it that, to start with. We had to pick the team up and make sure that initially my philosophy in line with the clubs was there, and I've not got any problem in admitting that a lot of what Sean Dyche is doing has stuck with me. I was lucky enough to see him talk at a conference in 2013, so before I was even at Burnley, and some of the principles that he said around hard work, the values that he's brought here is something that stuck with me, and that's something that in my first season, that was about getting those values across to the players whilst developing them tactically as well. But then last season was the big one, and like you say, we had a great FA Cup run which was massive in increasing the publicity, because for the women's game, if you're in the lower leagues you don't get as much, certainly on the social media and on the TV, that type of stuff. So the FA Cup run was massive, and it created a real good buzz about the place. And then on top of that, it was about making sure that in the league we got promotion. That was an absolute must, and that was a pressure that I embraced and that I tried to get the players to embrace as well, because we knew we had to get promoted last season. Only one went up out that division, so we had to work as hard as possible, which we all did, and obviously got ourselves into the National League, which it's an exciting time in the women's game with the way the FA have reformed those leagues, and for us to be in the new format of the National League is something that all the players should be proud of. And it's fantastic to see people coming down to watch us at Padium, and hopefully over the next few months and the season more Burnley fans will come down.
And if you had a final message to Burnley fans out there who may not know too much about Burnley ladies and what you've achieved and what you're about, what would you say to them?
Well, I'm a massive Burnley fan myself. I'm a season ticket holder at Turf Moor, so I know what the men's team means to the people of our town. So it'd be really nice if they could take us under their wing and follow our results and come along to some of the games, and hopefully enjoy seeing the young girls of Burnley really expressing themselves and playing at a good level.
I'm sure we all wish you well.
Thank you very much.